What's going on, guys? I finally have the completed KO flash lineup guide for any map, any situation, anything. Now, a couple disclaimers before we start. I came up with a rule when I was coming up with these flashes, and it's the 25-meter rule. And this means that you don't really need a flash lineup for every situation, right? So say, for example, you wanted to flash your teammate to the market. You don't want to have to like go out in this corner or something and like flash over the top, or come over here and flash over like this. A really simple way to flash on KO is that if you ping somewhere on the map, at about 25 meters, that's where the flash is going to pop, right? So 25 meters, throw it a little higher in the air so that it can pop midair, versus if you throw it on the ground, it might like skid across the ground and like catch on a ledge or something. You want to like throw it higher up in the air, so ping there, and you'll see it pings at about that 25. Flashes at about that 25-meter mark. So really cool to see. Now another disclaimer that I want to have before we get started is that KO's right click is just insane, right? So let's say, for example, your team is trying to exec out of A, right? A lot of people like to try to come up with flashes where like you maybe line up with this wall and then line up like this and then you throw it over the top. When in reality, like, yeah, that flash is nice and all, right? But most of the time, you're just going to want to right-click a flash out of the smoke, right? You don't really want to overcomplicate some things by creating some crazy elaborate lineups. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's some like crazy flash lineup that you could do like this and maybe it like blasts everything, right? But if your team is execing on a site, you're playing KO, you need a Molly Heaven, you need to knife sight, odds are you don't really want to be doing all that, right? You usually just want to right click a flash to the smoke, or again, you don't even want to have to do a crazy lineup. You kind of just want to throw it up and go in with your team, right? So just a couple disclaimers before we get started. Yeah, I'm really excited for this. It spent a lot of time. It took a lot of editing, it was a lot of work. So I don't normally ask for you guys to like and subscribe on my videos, just because I don't know, it's just not what I do. But if this guide did help you, please like and subscribe. I have more lineups and more guides coming like this for different agents. Like, I really want to do a raised boombot guide, just like lineups for certain maps and how to re-clear and for retake and stuff, and a lot more stuff planned like this. So that being said, hopefully you guys do learn something from this, and yeah, enjoy the lineups. And for this lineup, you line up with this wall, you aim at the corner of this building, and this will flash anybody holding this one way, and it goes over every smoke that someone can put up there. Now for this flash, you back up to the corner, you aim at the corner of this poster, and while this doesn't seem that crazy, it flashes anybody holding even a pixel angle into B main, allowing your teammates to take B main for free. And for this next flash, you're going to want to line up with this pillar, push up against it, aim at the corner of that building, and throw. This will flash anybody in window and allow your teammates to fight off it. Alright, now for this flash, this is a good jet dash, race satchel type of flash. So what you want to do is aim up with this wall, aim at the corner of this building, and let it rip. And that'll blind anybody in tiles, and then your duelist can follow up off it. This flash is a good post-plant flash. So what you want to do is get in this corner, aim at that line in the building, and let it rip. This will blind any retakers trying to retake from heaven, so your teammates can peek from it. And for this flash, this is another post-plant one. You're going to want to get back sight, hug this pillar, and aim at the corner of this building out in the distance. This will flash anybody retaking from CT, market, and anybody who's on site already, and then your teammates can swing off of this one as well. Now this next flash is kind of cool. So what you want to do is you're going to sit CT, and this one you just want to kind of eyeball. You want to jump, run through this flash so that it pops up against the wall back sight, so your teammates who are sitting in boathouse, anchoring and turtling up on site can swing off of it. This one's really cool. And keep in mind, throwing flashes over walls for your teammates as they're trying to anchor down sites while you're rotating is still a really good idea. These are still really strong. Now this flash is a good post-plant flash. You're going to want to get into this corner and line up your UI with the bottom of the doorway with that flash cup, and you jump through. This will blind anybody peeking out of heaven, CT, and then your teammates can swing off it. Now this next flash is a really good one for attacking. So if the enemy team is one wing off that box, you can hop on that crate, line up with this shadow, the second one, not the top one, and let it rip. Your teammates can exec off that flash, but you could also use this one as a post plant if you're still playing short and watching flank. This will blind literally everything. Heaven, CT, pocket, even a guy peeking out of U-Haul. This flash is really strong, and I highly recommend you use it. Alright, now this flash for B short is a little weird. So what you're going to want to do is line up with the middle of this wall, then aim at the top left of this window. Now when you throw it, you need to tell your duelists to hold this left wall and peek short into this way. There's virtually no possible flash that will get both this side and this side, right? So once you have them flash for you, I'll show you again. You flash like this. Flashbang. You should hold their left side in case anybody tries to swing, and they are hugging this wall, fighting short. Now, let me show you. So with this flash, this covers most of short. If they are holding pretty far back, they will not get flashed, right? So if the enemy team is anticipating for you to do an aggressive play, this will not work. But if they're up, getting ready to push short, this flash will destroy them. And if I hug the left wall, it still blinds you. But if you go far right enough, it won't. Keep that in mind. Alright, now this showers flash is really tricky, but it should blind any enemies that are trying to peek showers, giving you the angle and the space to peek. So what you're going to want to do is hug the corner of the buy barrier going into shower, put your back up against the wall, and slide all the way over until you see the edge of this window. Line up the edge with the ceiling, and then bounce it through this window. Again, this is a really hard flash to do, but I promise, once you get the feel of it, it becomes pretty easy. And it's really strong. And now for this long flash, what you're going to want to do is wait for the barrier to drop, put your back up against this pillar, and aim under these beam things. I guess they're flappers or whatever you want to call them. And it should flash anybody long or anybody crossing from B short, passing that hallway from B connector. Alright, now this one's a little tricky. Bear with me. If you have teammates playing in hookah and they want to swing out, but you're not there to flash for them, you could do this. So you're going to want to line up with this triangle that you see in the ground. Just the tip right there. Yep. And then if you look at the bottom right of my UI, the little stringy part at the very end, I'm going to line it up with a little dirt circle in the ground. Where is this thing? Right here. And then from here, you're going to want to run and jump through. This will blind anybody running up hookah, but it's also acts as a one-way flash. It won't blind your teammates. And now just keep in mind that lobbing flashes over your spawn is still really good for anybody who's trying to hold the site for your team. Keep in mind that if you're trying to throw flashes over your spawn from A, you do need to do a running jump throw so it catches both shower and short. These are really strong, and I highly recommend you do them. Alright, now on to Breeze. There weren't a lot of flash lineups for this map, but there's still some I really think is worth showing off. If you want your jet to push up shop safely, what you want to do is line up in the corner of the buy barrier and aim at the S in the shop sign. Left click it, and this is a perfect bouncing flash that obviously bounces off the wall, but instantly flashes anybody who's in shop. This flash is really strong. Alright, now if your teammate wants to peek mid, this flash will get him free kills. So what you're going to want to do is go into this corner underneath rail, and then you're going to see this shadow on the pipe, or whatever this is, a dark spot. You're going to want to aim in the middle of it. And then what you're going to want to do is when the barrier drops, you jump throw, and anybody running up mid, I promise you, will be blind. And now this one, I don't think there's a timing to beat this one. As long as your teammate turns the flash and swings out, someone here is going to get blind. Unless, of course, they hug like over here, but that just doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, this is a really good one. Let me show you what it looks like. Yep, so you're going up. Let's go with the barrier. So like 3, 2, 1, go. Nice. What you could do is if you're B main, you could lob flashes from B main and have them pop in front of this pillar. This allows your teammates to peek off of them and get some free kills. All right, so here's a really good flash if you're playing towards rail. So if you have a teammate who's close, getting ready to peek off of it, what you can do is line up with this line in the pipes right here, or just get in this general area, just somewhere in here, near this line works. And then what you're going to want to do is aim at the corner of this awning. And then left click. Now this flash blinds most, and I say most angles in shop. Now I'll show you in a second. It blinds most angles in shop, but it blinds cave so that it'll protect your jet or whoever's peeking just enough to peek safely into shop. So throw it. As you can see, it blinds most shop angles, right? But if I hug too far to the left, this won't blind me. And now from cave, it won't blind me if I'm peeking like this. But if I'm peeking more towards sight, it will blind me. So this is a great flash if your teammate wants to peek into shop or punish somebody grabbing the orb. Okay, so this flash is one that I showed off in one of my previous videos. What you're going to want to do is back up against this wall, put your crosshair like this, underneath this dark triangle and in between that dot, right in between the both of them, just like this. The flash will go through the door, allowing you to peek safely when the door opens. Yeah, and everyone's going to be blind. Pretty cool flash. Now for this flash, what you're going to want to do is line up with the center of this line for B main, and then you see this cup for your flashes, the white part of it, you're going to want to align the right part of your flash cup, the edge of it, under the M on that wall. And then this flash should flash anybody who's running up B main. All right, now this is another cup flash. What you're going to want to do is put your back up against this wall, line up with this faint line, and then put the right side of your flash cup, once again, right where the moss meets the grass on that little hill on the bottom there. And then anybody peeking arcade should be blind. Now for this one's for if you're attacking arcade. What you're going to want to do is line up with the buy barrier in this corner, aim a little bit under that leaf, and then jump throw. Anybody peeking arcade should be blind, and your team can run up. All right, now here's a nice little post plant flash for you. So what you're going to do is line up with this wall and then aim at this white part in the moss on that wall and then throw. This blind should pop against that wall, allowing your teammates from sight and tower to peek off it and get some free kills. Now this is another post plant one. So what you're going to want to do is line yourself up with this wall. Again, center it in the middle of your screen, and then aim at this line in the wall. This blind should land right up against the boxes, allowing your teammates on site to peek out pretty safely to the guy's CT. And lastly, if you came from dish, what you're going to want to do in the post plant, line yourself up with this wall, center it in your screen. Then aim with this black dot in the ground, and then jump throw. Once again, this is a flash for anybody on site to peek out and peek anybody retaking from CT. Alright, now if you want to flash your teammates into A long, what you're going to want to do is push yourself up against these bricks like this, aim at this little square, and then do a jump throw. Anybody who's playing long, holding lobby should be flashed. And if you want to flash your teammates into mid, line yourself up the same way you did against those bricks, and aim at that dot on that roof, I guess. If you want a cool garage flash, come over to garage, aim between these lines. There should be a slight sliver into the doors, so just be careful you don't get shot at. It's a really cool flash, and your teammate should be able to capitalize off it. Now, if you want to flash short, what you're going to want to do is line yourself up with the buy barrier on this pillar, and then right where the doorway and the beam meet, this flash should flash anybody off of short. And again, you can throw flashes over walls and whatnot for your teammates if they're anchoring down the sights, and here's what they look like. And lastly, if you're playing post plant towards C, if you're in cubby, what you could do is back yourself into this corner, aim at the corner of this pillar thing in the background, and this should blind any enemies running out of CT or garage. Alright, now for Icebox, if you want to flash for your Sova's dart, aim at this corner after putting yourself in the corner of the buy barrier, and do a running jump throw. This should protect the arrow and it won't get broken. And now when your team is ready to execute sight, what you're going to want to do is come below pipes, aim at that cross in the wall, and do a slight run throw. This flash will land behind Jenny, not blind any of your teammates, but blind all the enemies. Now here's a cool mid flash. What you're going to want to do is tuck yourself in the corner of the barrier and aim between the white and blue container. This should blind boiler, anyone bot mid, basically anyone holding mid, allowing for your team to take the angle. And now this next flash is tricky. What you're going to want to do is push yourself up against the buy barrier and give yourself enough room so that you see the black part of this wall, and then aim where the white part of the wall and the black part of the wall meet with nest, aim right where it all meets, and do a jump throw. If your jet wants to push belt, this will allow her not to get blinded, but instead blind the enemy team walking up ramp, plus all the way in spawn. Now, if you want to flash for your teammate who wants to peek over pipes, what you're going to want to do is line yourself up with this line in Jenny, and then look at the cup in which your flash is in. Aim the left side of the cup in this dot in the floor. And let the flash fly. This flash is going to skid across the top of pipes, not blind your guy on pipes, but blind all the enemies. And then they can peek for free. And now lastly, if your team wants to peek mid, is again, put yourself in the corner of this buy barrier and line your crosshair up with where that white container plus enemy spawn meets, and then let the flash fly. Again, this will blind anybody on that headshot angle, holding mid, or basically anyone just looking towards mid, and then your teammates can peek off it from either bot tube or underneath.
Now, if you want to flash your teammates into A main, what you're going to want to do is put yourself in the corner of this buy barrier, aim at this corner, and let the flash rip. Alright, and if you want to flash your teammates to peek art, you're going to want to put yourself against this wall in A main, aim at the corner of this building, and then let it fly. And again, because how the buildings are shaped on this map and how short they are, you're able to flash your teammates into certain places, like into dugout. Now, if your teammates want to peek mid, a flash that you could throw from them is from in B link. You back yourself into this corner, aim at this gray brick, and then jump through. This should flash anybody peeking from window and for anyone who's walked out of shop. Now, if you're on the post plant on B, what you could do is throw flashes out of bounds like this. They're really hard to see for the enemies. And then you probably get some free kills. Again, the buildings on this map are really short. Chuck flashes over the buildings to help your teammates out. Now, if you want to flash your teammates up B long, what you're going to want to do is line yourself up in the corner of the buy barrier on the left side, aim at the corner of this roof, and then let it rip. If you want to flash your teammates into A main on defense, what you're going to want to do is put yourself in the corner of the buy barrier, aim at the corner of this column, and let it rip. This should clear out that cubby and any oppers holding A main, but do be careful because oppers can hold pixel angles.
Now this flash through the window is really cool. So if you want to flash for your teammates who want to push up A main, what you're going to want to do is line up with the buy barrier, then aim at the bottom left of this brick where it meets with this chipped paint in the wall. Then, when the buy barrier drops, you're going to want to slightly tap W and then sort of do like a half run throw. Again, practice this in a custom game because it's kind of tough to get down on your first try. Again, it'll blind anybody running out of A main, even if they have their knife out and are next to the corner in the buy barrier. It'll catch anybody.